Tonight on Eagle Eye News at 6. Recovery efforts continue 2 weeks after a deadly tornado hit Lee County. Plus, a new tax is coming to Alabama. Find out what it means for you tonight. And see how Auburn fared in the NCAA tournament today. These stories and others ahead on Auburn's News Leader.
Good evening and welcome to Eagle Eye News at 6. I'm Lucy Jane Ragsdale.
And I'm Chloe Thaler.
Relief efforts continue 2 weeks after a deadly tornado killed 23 in Beauregard.
The SEC announced last week a $100,000 donation to Auburn University to assist in relief efforts and support students, faculty, and staff that were potentially impacted by the disaster. Auburn University President Stephen Leith said the donation is a remarkable donation that speaks to the SEC's steadfast commitment to its member institutions and surrounding communities. As we continue to evaluate further ways in which our university can help those affected by the March 3rd tornadoes, this funding will be a tremendous boost to our coordinated efforts going forward.
Visitors to the area have included Governor Ivey, President Trump, and the Today Show's Al Roker, and several congressmen.
In statewide news, Alabama has passed an increased fuel tax to help cover the cost of infrastructure repairs. The 10-cent increase would happen over 3 years. This would raise over $300 million for the state.
Governor Kay Ivey has been an early supporter of the bill after introducing the Rebuild Alabama plan. She spoke at a press conference before signing the bill.
A major step indeed, because we have chosen to work together in a bipartisan way. It surely makes a difference when we work together. And I want to reaffirm to each of you and to all of you that we will continue to be good stewards of these resources, and every penny that is raised through this new resource will be scrutinized, will be accounted for infrastructure only, period.
In her State of the State address earlier this month, the governor pointed out several statistics surrounding Alabama infrastructure.
The state's infrastructure funding has not been changed in nearly 30 years. Each year, over 69 billion miles are driven on Alabama roads. From 2015 to 2017, nearly 30,000 traffic deaths occurred in the state. 1/3 were attributed in part of road deficiencies.
Counties are resurfacing every 56 years when a recommended schedule is every 15 years. Over half of the 16,000 bridges are older than their 50-year lifespan. Bridges are replaced on average every 186 years in the state. To put that in perspective, Alabama has only been a state for 200 years. Driving on rough roads costs the average Alabamian $507 annually in vehicle maintenance, equaling $2 billion statewide each year.
The new revenue would be divided between the state, counties, and municipalities to be used mainly for road, bridge, and port improvements.
Alabama's fuel tax is currently 18 cents. There's also a federal excise tax of 18.4 cents per gallon. Cities and counties in Alabama can also levy a gas tax anywhere between 1 and 6 cents per gallon. Auburn and Opelika have a 2-cent per gallon tax. Gas prices in Alabama currently average around $2.32 per gallon, the third lowest in the country after Utah and Mississippi.
And in other legislature, a proposal for a statewide lottery. On Tuesday, Springfield State Senator Jim McClendon announced he was introducing legislation to set up a state lottery.
McClendon proposed splitting the lottery revenue between the Education Trust Fund and the General Fund. The Alabama Constitution currently prohibits lotteries, so legislation would require a constitutional amendment.
Voters in 1999 had a chance to implement a lottery when legislation was led by Governor Don Siegelman. That plan was rejected and lottery bills had not passed the legislature since. McClendon estimated that $250 million could be raised for the state.
McClendon previously sponsored lottery legislation in 2016.
A bill approved yesterday in an Alabama House committee might make holding a cell phone while driving illegal, with some exceptions.
It's already illegal to use a cell phone to text while driving in Alabama, but supporters of the bill seek to expand its jurisdiction, saying the existing ban is weak and hard to enforce.
The committee approval has put the bill in line for consideration by the full House. If the bill passes, drivers would pay a $50 fine for the first violation, $100 for the second, and $150 for the third.
In the midst of Auburn's climb to the top of the SEC and just ahead of their chance in the NCAA tournament, former Auburn assistant coach Chuck Person has agreed to plead guilty in federal court. He also agreed to forfeit $91,500 as a condition of the plea.
Person was accused of accepting bribes from an FBI cooperative witness to influence Auburn players to sign with particular financial advisors once they went pro.
Person was one of 4 coaches charged in September 2017 for the scandal. He could serve between 24 and 30 months in prison. He coached at Auburn from 2014 to 2017.
2 Auburn players were unable to play in the 2017-2018 season due to violations in recruiting and extra benefits. Juniors Daniel Purifoy and Austin Wiley are both back playing for the Tigers this season. And after the break, all the latest on how the Tigers fared in the first round of the NCAA double tournament.
You're watching Eagle Eye TV, Auburn's news leader.
Get it.
Get it.
Get it.
Get it.
Get it.
Is she gonna get it, Daddy?
She'll get it.
Get it. Get it.
When you bring home a Goodwill find, you give your whole town a reason to celebrate because you're also funding local job training and placement programs in tech, healthcare, and more. Goodwill. Bring good home.
Welcome back. I'm Mary Lee Oliver with Eagle Eye Sports. After a big win over Tennessee in the SEC Tournament Final, the Auburn Tigers earned the 5 seed in the Midwest region of the NCAA Tournament. The Tigers' first game was earlier today against the 12th-seeded New Mexico State. The Aggies came out of the Western Athletic Conference and boasted a record of 30-4 coming into the game, while the Tigers sat at 26-9. The two teams play very similar styles. They both like to run and gun up and down the court and rely on both their athleticism and sharp shooting from the outside to win games. Auburn would come out flat in the first half as SEC Tournament MVP Bryce Brown and his point guard Jared Harper would go a combined 1 for 9, shooting as the Tigers took a 3-point lead into the locker room at the break. The second half would raise the heart rates of Auburn fans everywhere, as if it wasn't high enough already. After a period of 17 minutes with no turnovers, the Tigers seemed to get sloppy as New Mexico State clawed their way back into it. Auburn turned the ball over 6 times in the last 6 minutes. With just over a second left, New Mexico State had possession, down by 1 with a chance to win. But after the final shot by Trevlin Queen failed to find the bottom of the basket, Auburn would come away victorious by a final score of 78-77. The Tigers were led by Jared Harper's 17 points, while Bryce Brown added 12, Chimo Okeke had 13, and Javon McCormick had himself a game off the bench, scoring a season-high 16 and hitting clutch free throws at the end of the game. Fans were quick to celebrate this afternoon at Toomer's Corner, in only a way Auburn fans know how. Auburn will take on Kansas in the second round. That game will take place Saturday in Salt Lake City, Utah, with a time to be determined. Now, just because it's March doesn't mean the men are the only ones who get to have fun, as the Auburn women's basketball team learned over the weekend that they too would be heading to the tournament. So for the 3rd time in Coach Flo's tenure, the ladies are going dancing as they will travel to California to take on the ladies of Brigham Young. Auburn opens the tournament as a 10 seed, facing the 7-seeded Cougars. The Tigers are 22-9 on the season, with an above 500 record in SEC play for the first time under Coach Flo. Tip-off for the Tigers will be at 2:30 Central Time on Saturday. One interesting tidbit to throw in, BYU is 3-14 all-time against SEC squads, with 2 of those wins coming against Florida. Let's see if Auburn can pull the upset card and likely face off against Stanford in the second round. Switching gears from one sport to another, Auburn baseball opened up the conference play over the weekend, welcoming in the Tennessee Volunteers to Plainsman Park. Eagle Eye was there to bring you the story.
The 18th-ranked Auburn Tigers opened up conference play Friday night against the 23rd-ranked Tennessee Volunteers. The game lived up to its ranking as both teams were closely contested throughout the match. Sophomore pitcher Tanner Burns led the way with 9 strikeouts, no earned runs, while giving up only 4 hits. A collection of great pitching, stout defense, and cohesion among the outfielders led the Tigers to a shutout. The game was scoreless until the bottom of the 7th. 2 volunteer errors allowed freshmen Ryan Bliss and Kason Howell to score the game's only runs. Sophomore pitcher Cody Greenhill relieved Burns and sealed the win with 4 strikeouts in the last 2 innings. The Tigers defeated the Volunteers 2-0 to kick off their first conference series.
After the break, meet our pet of the week, Jake. You're watching Eagle Eye TV, Auburn's news leader.
Of all the things you've done with your bike, donating it to Goodwill may be the most incredible of all. Your donations help fund job placement and training for people in your community, which means your stuff can be more powerful than you think. Donate stuff, create jobs.
As Auburn's enrollment continues to increase, so does the need for on-campus housing for freshmen who want to live in the dorms. In his installation address last year, President Leith announced plans to increase housing on campus.
On campus, we're planning to add new dining options, more parking, additional residence hall capacity to accommodate every freshman who wants to live near their classrooms, labs, and study areas.
Currently, the university has 4,800 beds on campus and 32 resident halls. The most recent addition was the 8 buildings in the Village neighborhood. Rental rates for on-campus rooms range from $3,060 to $5,920 per semester. Living on campus is not required for first-year students, but many don't have the chance to. With 3 buildings reserved for sororities, there are about 4,080 beds available for incoming freshmen. In 2018, the freshman class was 6,223.
Auburn's 16th annual Big Event is this weekend. The sponsored Day of Service began in 2003 as a way for students to give back to the community. This year's Big Event will start this Saturday at 8 a.m. on the Student Center campus green. From there, students can go out into the community to assigned job sites from 9 a.m. to noon. There are over 1,000 volunteers and 180 job sites this year. Students can participate as individuals, in teams, or as part of an organization.
Auburn's General Electric plant is expanding to build upon additive manufacturing or 3D printing technology for jet engines. The plant currently employs over 200 people, and the expansion is slated to create 60 new jobs for the area. GE Aviation has unveiled plans to direct more than $50 million into its Auburn manufacturing facility. Since 2015, the manufacturing plant has been producing a jet engine component with 3D printing technology and currently employs around 230 people. Governor Kay Ivey announced the move yesterday, reinforcing Auburn's reputation as a hub for additive manufacturing. GE Aviation is at leading edge of the advanced aerospace manufacturing, and the company's expansion plans at the Auburn facility will strengthen its technology leadership position. Governor Ivey said, "We look forward to seeing where the great partnership between Alabama and GE Aviation will take us both in an exciting future." GE has already invested over $100 million in the landmark Auburn site, which in 2015 began producing a fuel nozzle tip using additive technologies. Last October, the Auburn manufacturing team celebrated production of the 30,000th 3D printed fuel nozzle tip for the LEAP jet engine.
This week's Pet of the Week is Jake. Eagle Eye's Eva Brandon went to go see what makes Jake so loving and fun.
I'm Eva Brandon with Eagle Eye TV here at Lee County Humane Society visiting our Pet of the Week, Jake.
Jake is a really special dog. He's been with us since September 21st of 2018, so that's almost 6 months in the shelter, which is really insane. Jake is a really active dog and he's super smart, and he actually just got sponsored to go to off-leash canine training in Columbus. They are going to take him on for their 2-week board and train program, basically teach him all of the incredible skills that they have for their dogs, things like leash walking and dog-to-dog interactions, a lot of other obedience style training, so it's going to be a really great opportunity for him. We think he's really going to benefit from it. Jake is definitely a very active dog, but he's so smart. He knows how to sit and shake, and he can catch treats really well. He's a very talented boy. As always, you can find us on our social media, which is Lee County Humane Society on Instagram and Facebook, and at Lee County Humane on Twitter. And our normal hours are 12 to 5 p.m. Tuesday through Sunday. We are closed on Mondays for adoptions, but we are here for intakes.
Jake is available for adoption at the Lee County Humane Society.
After the break, a typo has won Birmingham news station, making more headlines than they'd like to. But first, here's a look at some events coming up on campus.
You're watching Eagle Eye TV, Auburn's news leader.
It's my job to pay attention to the game, and I take my job seriously.
While I'm busy watching the game, I need your help keeping an eye on the stands.
If you see something that doesn't look quite right, tell a law enforcement official.
We all play an important role in protecting our communities, and you can help.
If you see something suspicious, say something to local authorities.
A Birmingham news station had an unfortunate typo on their broadcast when talking about Auburn basketball. The station was talking about the team winning the SEC title, except they didn't write SEC.
Auburn wins sex tournament is what read on the screen. The error earned plenty of attention across the country, with tweets pouring in from across the country and Jimmy Fallon talking about it on an episode of The Tonight Show.
That's all we have for you tonight. Be sure to tune in with us each Thursday and check our website, eagleeyeauburn.com, for all the latest headlines. I'm Chloe Thaler.
And I'm Lucy Jane Ragsdale. Thanks for joining us in War Eagle.